Hi everybody, welcome to A Dangerous Mix. I'm Ned, and in this video, I'm going to cover my top 5 Christmas movies. So these movies are a must-watch for me every year, and they help me get into the Christmas spirit. Now, this wasn't easy to do and get down to 5, because I started with a list of 40 plus Christmas movies, and it took me a while to kind of dwindle down what actually makes it. There was so many that I wanted to put in the top 5, but unfortunately I had to narrow it down, and this is what it ended up being. And also keep in mind, this list does exclude some movies I haven't had a chance to see yet, such as Klaus or The Chronicles of Christmas. Who knows, maybe that will change this year, and this list might change next year. Only time will tell. At number 5, we have How the Grinch Stole Christmas from 2000. So it was directed by Ron Howard, and stars Jim Carrey, Taylor Momsen, Jeffrey Tambor, and Christine Baranski. Yes, I think that's it. So this movie, I don't know if it's Jim Carrey's overacting, but it just does. I mean, in general, any of the How the Grinch Stole Christmases will tell us a similar story and kind of have people not depend upon gifts to celebrate Christmas. It's beyond gifts. And it's more about getting together, cherishing the moments you have, and having fun. So I just prefer the Jim Carrey version because, I don't know, it works. I like it, I enjoy it, and it's one I must watch every year. Number 4 is Jingle All the Way, which came out in 1996. It was directed by Brian Levant, and then stars Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sinbad, Phil Hartman, Rita Wilson, and Jake Lloyd before he became Anakin Skywalker. That movie does a really good thing. As someone who is also a workaholic, I find that I relate to Arnold's character a little bit. I mean, obviously, I don't have a kid yet to kind of buy toys for, but he's kind of this workaholic that's kind of zeroed in and got his blinders on and focused on that alone and kind of neglecting his family. So it's interesting to see him kind of get put in the scenario where he has to find a toy for his son, where he had 2 weeks notice. He failed to either listen to his wife or write it down and completely forgot. Could be either. But he's pretty much out there trying to rush around and get this toy and cross his paths with Sinbad, which Sinbad did an awesome job in this, and the way those two go back and forth between being friends and enemies is just great. Plus you have Jim Belushi, the Big Show, not sure what his real name is, and Mini-Me, Vern Troyer in here playing Santa, who are pretty much, hustling, trying to sell fake toys and profit. So that's kind of cool. Phil Hartman plays the pervy neighbor, and he adds his own bit of comic relief. In general, I just love how this movie plays out and kind of gets to the story of, you don't have to have the toy. I mean, I really appreciate my parents and when they had found a way to get me and my sister the toys that we got, because honestly, a lot of them were probably crap toys and they probably didn't understand. But I'm sure, hopefully, me and my sister showed some joy from it that made it worth it for them. But that's the message from this movie is the kid really just wanted his dad at the end of the day and gave the toy away to Sinbad's character so he can make his kid happy. So, great movie. Definitely in my top 5. Number 3 is Scrooged, which came out in 1988, and it was directed by Richard Donner and stars Bill Murray, Karen Allen, John Glover, and Bobcat Goldthwait, which Bobcat, I love his story arc in this movie. I love most movies that he's in. Plus, this has Bill Murray, which there's not much you really need to say. It's Bill freaking Murray. And I just like how they took kind of a Charles Dickens A Christmas Carol and kind of made it an adult version of it. And you have tons of them out there. You have the Muppets doing it. You have probably the Simpsons did it. You have all this stuff that has already done A Christmas Carol, and there's multiple versions out there. But Scrooged is kind of my preferred interpretation of that story, and it works well. Number 2 is National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, which came out in 1989. That was directed by Jeremiah Chechik and stars Chevy Chase, Beverly D'Angelo, Juliette Lewis, Johnny Galecki, and Randy Quaid, which that movie is great in so many ways. Not only, him getting on the saucer that's all greased up and flies down the hill, but the movie has a very positive message of pulling the family together, even if it's going to be a nightmare and it's a dysfunctional family. It's just about getting the family together and having a good year. Now, there's another element of this which obviously ties into, having a bonus, which Scrooge also had that, but this one definitely, he was looking to get the pool, which depended upon that money. Now, I work in a job where you don't have to worry about getting a bonus. You pretty much just get vacation time. Bonuses that don't even exist. So it's always interesting to me to kind of see that in films and not be able to necessarily relate to it. But if that is something you depend upon, then it is something you're accustomed to, and you're kind of banking on to deliver on things that you've promised to your family. So definitely sucks regardless, and it definitely was nice that it ended with him getting his bonus. So that is also a great Christmas movie, just pulling the family together no matter the circumstances, and having a nice meal and catching up. Number 1 is Elf from 2003, which was directed by Jon Favreau, and he killed it on Iron Man, he killed it on Elf. Great director, looking forward to seeing more from him. And this film also stars Will Ferrell, Zooey Deschanel, James Caan, Bob Newhart, Edward Eisner, Mary Steenburgen, and Peter Dinklage. So great cast, and I know when I first saw this film, it would instantly be one that I had to watch every year. Will Ferrell in general is someone I like most of his films. Zooey Deschanel did an awesome job. Bob Newhart was in here. He did an awesome job of telling and kind of being the narrator, as well as Elf's father, Elf, and Peter Dinklage, which I think this was probably the first place that I had seen him. And of course, he goes on to do Game of Thrones and so many other good things. And it's one of the first areas that I noticed him as, very solid actor. And I'm looking forward to see what he does in the near future. But Elf in general has so much good stuff in there, like, answering the phone, buddy Elf, what's your favorite color? Just so many quotable things for me, like just going crazy when it's Santa. It's just something that really raises my spirit, and the movie has kind of that message at the end of it where, Santa's obviously having to use power or jet engines to fly the sleigh because people aren't believing in Christmas and the spirit isn't there. And Elf is pretty much about him coming in and trying to reset that and get people back into the spirit of Christmas. And he wins over his dad, and everything ends up good. So it's definitely a must-see Christmas movie for me. But yeah, that is going to be my top 5. What are your top 5? Go ahead and leave a comment and let me know. I'm also over on Twitch and on Twitter, which there are links down below in the description, along with my schedule for Twitch. And with that, I say Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and until next time, have a good one. And yes, that 40 plus movies did include Die Hard and Batman Returns, and to be honest, they almost made it into the top 5, definitely in the top 10.